payroll tables are signed. You already got payroll and stuff signed, all right. So, the minutes, I have a change and I want to make sure that we're all on the same sheet of music with the change.
I got nothing in minutes. Probably.
Okay, down here, Ricky read these resignations, E911 Health Officer, Safety Officer, dated effective 6/30. Ricky motion, Frank second to accept the 3 resignation letters. Vote 3-0 unanimous. Then I explained that Bill Flynn agreed to the Health Officer Safety position. Ricky motion, Frank second to pay Bill Flynn, Safety Officer, $2,000. And I've rewatched the video, so I want to make sure that we're all on the same sheet of music. I justified the $2,000 for the safety officer position. Motion, Frank seconded, and when you were coming up, we were already up. You were coming up, that's when you asked for if it was for both. It is not for both. There's a stipend of 700 for the health officer, there's 2,000 for the safety officer. So these minutes need to change.
So what's the total now?
For both, it would be 2,700. There was a raised and appropriate 700 for the health officer.
So we'll just correct the minutes to reflect that,
Yes,
and you make the motion.
I will. I'll make the motion. We accept the minutes with the change on. See the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, 6th, 7th paragraph down. It's crossed out and I initialed it.
Thank you.
No seconds. All in favor? Perfect. Thank you. You want these separate? So that's all signed. Done. Okay, we're gonna deviate from the printed agenda. Due to the fact we have the planning board coming in at 6 to speak with the select board. So department heads. Treasurer.
By the end of the week, the tax bills, the look has been revised. The company that we're using, I think, did a fine job. It also made the coupons on the bottom. They stand out more, so people aren't gonna throw out the second one because they don't know it's there. And so that's what they look like, and you should see them in your mailbox by the beginning of next week, the latest. That's all I have.
Due to the fact that the treasurer, tax collector treasurer is first on the department heads. Prior to this meeting, we had a workshop with the treasurer, town clerk, deputy, and the select board, along with the CEO. The town office hours are changing, starting effective next week. And it will be open Monday through Wednesday, 7 to 5. At 4:30, the window closes. Thursday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And all of this will be posted on the town's website along with a calendar for the scheduled closures for holidays. So that will Lynn will update the website.
It's all done.
Okay,
So that, how's that gonna affect the various clinics we usually hold the first Saturday of?
no more certain.
Yeah,
Is it gonna affect it?
yeah,
Well, I'm sure we can have a way to get you in the building.
okay.
Yeah.
Usually we hold the regular clinic the first Saturday.
Yeah. We can get the building open.
Okay, perfect.
What is Fridays? You said Monday through Wednesdays and Thursday.
Correct.
Oh, Fridays is closed.
There you go.
Okay.
Fridays and Sundays. And Public Works has that schedule, so essentially that's the entire town. Would be closed Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. Right. ACO,
Cause the old camera we had purchased, stopped working. So I called Buster and they run, whatever they do with the camera, they ran it through their thing, they said, oh, it's obsolete. So they said, bring one, do one free of charge,
sweet,
so. Then we'll work on the second one to get that. And me and Lynn will make sure that everything's hooked up Thursday, so the payment and everything.
now, are those new cameras downloadable with regular software, not
Yeah.
something special that we gotta borrow?
One. Just do it. G.
Okay, so you can download and plug it into a computer here and play it, okay, all right,
Yeah. I'm gonna be talking to Boss before I come down to see Lynn.
Okay.
So. When I come to see Lynn, only thing left is make sure the payment goes through when it, for the yearly thing that we just paid for the camera. Because the credit card has changed and everything, that we come in October,
okay,
so we'll make sure that's gonna go through nice and smoothly, so we don't have no glitches in it. And we had a dog bite that I'm working on. And that's about it.
cool, sweet, thank you. Town clerk, you have anything?
Not at the moment, not this week.
Okay, perfect. Fire chief. What you got?
It's 6 medical assists, 2 motor vehicle accidents, and 1 odor investigation. I met today with the private fair and the public safety, because we're part of their emergency operations plan. And they're gonna use our UTV. Gonna be still with the private fair, private fire department loop, because they've had the last 3 years. They called us and they could use it again. It's nice, quick, little buggy to get around the fairgrounds. With any small fires that they have. And we're set up for it. They have to strip their rig. Mine is loaded, so they asked if they could use it. I said, absolutely. So that'll be up there for the week of the fair. I took Bill and Cliff around to do the building inspections this Wednesday. The first one, and I'll take them around next month.
Okay.
Get them up to speed on what's gotta be done. And we got any inspection.
Yep, gotcha. Next week is really good because everybody's gonna be out of town.
Yes, it stays at that time. It's like getting next month.
Yeah, well, we can go do it. Yeah, we can do it Monday. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
I'll roll down and do yours too.
Good.
All right. Whit? Nothing new, cause you ain't had a meeting?
The whole one, we do. We just. Keep talking a little bit, started some lists that the committee members have about things that we wanna. Try to incorporate or with the new building. Looked at some letters from engineers and architects. We're gonna start reaching out to some of them, start having some preliminary talks. We get the feelings, we added a member of the committee, Stuart Smith. So he's gonna be joining us now. And that's kind of it, next meeting's next week, Wednesday.
Yep.
6:30 here. That's all I got at the moment.
Thank you. Where's the guy with the badge?
I had a brief discussion with some of you folks last evening, and I'm going to backpedal a bit on that. I'm talking in terms of safety committee. I'm talking in terms of the things that are required by the state, Maine, for various departments within the town. Nothing, literally, for the required stuff or whatever has been done for some time. So I have been working at that for the last few weeks. They have these compliance directives that indicate which department requires a certain type of training. Some obviously need more. What I've done is I've got the woman that's in charge of safety works. Her name she's agreeable to coming here, but she said she couldn't come here during the month of October. She's all booked up. She wants to come in November, so certainly gonna grab that. So on November the 19th, it's a Tuesday, and I've given her a schedule, and I've got several more. I can give a few more out. Now, I indicated earlier that I asked if the Board of Selectmen would consider shutting down the town office for at least several hours, say in the morning. I talked with her today, and she tells me that the people from the town office and the rec department will be needed to be in the classroom probably until 10:30 or 11 o'clock, but no longer than that. The public works and the transfer station people, she has scheduled until at least 1 o'clock. And I am hopeful, because this would take care of a real big chunk of what is missing as far as the requirements go. I am hopeful that the department heads, as well as the Board of Selectmen, as well as the individuals who work for the town, will try their level best to be here for every minute that I have them scheduled for. This could really ease things a lot, all of this in on one day. So, I'm going to ask again that the Board of Selectmen consider shutting down the office for at least a couple of hours in the morning of November the 19th. It's a Tuesday, to free up the people who work in this building.
You good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, yeah. Please post the website. Bill, if he give you the dates, I want to make clear, all town employees and, for the town, this is mandatory training. You will attend, not asking. It's a requirement that we have to do, and any other job you have out there, there's safety requirements. So we are no different. So please make plans accordingly.
I also have appointment just to sit and talk with Lynn. I believe it's next week. We're gonna actually, let's talk about scheduling a few of the safety committee meetings. We'll gather some folks together and we will start that process going. We used to have a regular crew that attended, and most of them no longer are employed by the town. It's like right now I have this list of employees that we gotta schedule for these classes, and very few of them have ever been to one before because they all just started, so to speak. So we'll be fine. We'll get it going on the 19th of November. We'll do well. Thank you.
Thank you. Code enforcement.
So we had a complaint this week. I just put it in your correspondence for now, so you guys can read that. I sent a letter out today. It was pretty lengthy, so I'll let you guys read it, enjoy it a little bit. I'm assuming it's gonna be 2 or 3 step process. We'll have to. This letter didn't go out certified. The next one will. This one here is more so just reaching out, trying to make communication, open that up first, and then we'll see about that. The only other thing that I had on my plate this week was my erosion control class. I had taken that and I'd gotten all the certifications, all the classes, the courses that I took for it, but I have to actually write like a memoir of, erosion control, right? You probably know, Cliff knows. So next week, Cliff's gonna take me around, maybe show me a couple spots, because you gotta take pictures. It's a whole narrative thing that you gotta write, kind of like a little story of what to do. So, he said there's probably some sites around, because I don't have anything open right now to write about. So I called John McLean from DEP today, and he said, hey, the public works guy, be the guy to go for, because they're doing ditches, riprap, all that stuff. So, that's all I have this week.
Thank you. Public Works.
Yeah, I talked with Charlie last week. He should be around sometime in October for the rec center paving and Burnett on route. I got hold of Matt Streeter from the Ben Hill deal. He's thinking at the time we're all set with the funding.
Yep.
He's trying to get hold of Drew. And I asked him about the bids, and he said they should still be good.
Thought they expired after a year.
I mentioned it to him, he said he didn't think so.
So,
He's trying to get Drew back to him to find out if his figures are still gonna be the same or up,
right,
whatever. So he's talking about June of next year to start.
we're gonna know what the town buy-in is.
He's working on numbers to get back in numbers.
Well, it won't happen in June then, because we're gonna have to put that in the article, do an article for it.
Get back to him. We'll see what he has to say about that.
I don't think we got too much time though, yeah, I mean. I can't remember what the window is where they'll let you do that. So if they don't get done in June. They're gonna be able to do it. This year, that, next year. I can't remember now what it is, but I know there's a window where they, you can only be in the water certain,
Good.
it's pretty short.
And then the bats,
Okay.
leave all the. The start of the woods. Today. Just waiting on him to now put it in, so. Wow,
Okay, thank you. Rack,
Yeah, with the one. So we've got the Husky soccer is in full swing. That will have games and practices run through October 25th. They have their big tournament in Pugapalooza the weekend prior, which is the 17th. They go to North Conway and they have a big tournament for all the kids around here. Stuff we've been doing around the property. Rick was gracious enough to let us use his tractor. We've tore up the ball field, so to speak. Got all the grass picked up on the inside of it. So that's shaping up pretty good for the spring. We've looked at priced out paint for the dugouts. We're gonna get the dugouts painted. And we have some wooden benches we're gonna be sealing this fall as well. Upcoming events, like I mentioned before last week, we've got the pumpkin carving event on October 19th. And November, we have the Veterans Fall Ball, which is a dance and dinner. Just free to the community, and it's for honoring our veterans and what have you. Regular events continue. Thursday morning coffee hour. Thursday night yoga. On 9:30 next Monday. They'll have their watercolor and paint class 1 to 3. And Friday, October 4th is the book club at 4 p.m. One more thing. Thanks to Public Works, we got the docks out. We ended up keeping the docks in an extra week because we were scheduled for some pretty warm weather, and they were able to work with me to schedule a date another week out. So
you can take those ladders over to Joe's. Okay. That'll get rid of the cap issue. You just have them welded on. Bolt them back up.
there's your recreation update.
Thank you. All right, we have commercial accounts for Willie Tracy, Rec Director, and Cliff Cousins, Public Works Director. These are for town commercial accounts that they will bear full responsibility for. I understand and agree that I bear ultimate responsibility for the security of the card. Will not use the commercial credit card to withdraw cash. Will not use commercial credit card for personal expenses, we use it only for official business on behalf of the town. If I misuse the card or otherwise fail to reconcile my expenditures within the prescribed procedures and time frame, I authorize the company to recover the funds through payroll deductions for any amounts incorrectly claimed or reconciliations that are 1 month in arrears of the statement date. Commercial credit cards lost or stolen, I'll report it immediately to the treasurer. If I resign from the company, I will return the card with a final reconciliation of all expenditures prior to departure. Both of you agree to this? Please come up and sign and get your cards. It's Willie, right there. Your card. It's yours. It's your card. Yeah. See, sign something. You. So. Right. Do I have anything from the audience? Bill?
I just want to give a quick report. My badge is back from the jewelers and fully polished.
Nice.
And I spent some time discussing the situation with the gentleman that's in charge of vehicles for the state police. He did some measuring on my Subaru. And he says he can put a string of blue lights on the top of the roof and a string of red lights in the back. And the siren will go in right behind the headlight on the front right. Last night at the budget committee, I couldn't help but notice that on the sheet there was some money in the animal control officer's budget. I thought for co-workers, she could just transfer some. It's really to save me a spot on the Brownfield Days Parade, so I can come down throwing candy in the just so I want you to know, things are going good.
Thanks, Bill. Brian?
Yep, couple of questions on the ongoing dog issue on Blueberry. Can the select board please provide me with a proper documentation? What authority going by the state of Maine animal welfare laws that the ACO has stated that the house at the end of Blueberry Lane is a working farm?
I guess. You're gonna have to break it down a little bit for me. What exactly are you looking for?
Like some documentation saying that the ACO has authority to state that that is a working farm at the end of Blueberry Lane. And the second question is, where are the animal welfare laws that say that hunting dogs can be considered livestock or herding dogs? Or what authority does the ACO have to make that determination? Because right now up on social media, there is an ad by that person with hunting dogs for sale.
Okay, so I got the first question written down. Second one, what was it?
Where in the animal welfare laws does it say hunting dogs can be considered livestock or herding dogs? Or what authority does the ACO have to make that determination?
Tell you what. I'll reach out to the town's attorney tomorrow, see if I can set a legal executive session. And ask those questions. And get an answer for you.
I'd love to be there and I'll.
You cannot.
pay the
You-
attorneys.
You cannot attend an executive session.
Okay, well, can it be done outside the executive session?
No. The executive session, when it comes to legal matters, we're gonna do it at executive. I will not put the town's attorney out here for public.
Well,
It's not gonna happen. But I will reach out to the town's attorney And I will schedule an executive session. Attend it, ask your questions, and I will provide you with an answer. That's the best I can do, is speak to the attorney. I'm not an attorney. I don't know the laws. That's what they get paid the big bucks for. So. But I will ask the question and I will get an answer. Now, I'll reach out tomorrow. So we'll schedule it and we'll let you know that it's scheduled. It has to be, there has to be notification. Because it's an executive session. It'll be on the website, it'll be posted on the door, and it'll be released to the media. So you will know when it is. All right?
I just have a quick compliment for the public work, specifically Cliff was mentioned. I was at the Christchurch open house and which was well attended. They raised a little bit of funds, which I think they were happy with by the smiles on their faces. But they specifically mentioned how happy they were with public works that the road was paved in front of the church. And there's like a little hole beside the road that they put stones in. Ditch work, I'm assuming. I don't know the technical term, but they were very pleased about that. And also, they had asked for some slow signs for the event they were hosting. And Cliff came from removing docks and came right down and placed those signs. So they weren't expecting such quick reaction on his part. And so they were extremely grateful for all of those things because it really helped them on a few levels. The paving helped them because people drive very fast on a dirt road when they're trying to paint
Where's that at?
on Porter Road.
Oh,
So when they drive by there, they try to paint the dirt and the dust and everything and try to be. And I didn't want to go unheard. By public works and by the people.
good job. Good job. Yes.
Just a quick correction. There was a mailing sent out to residents of Brownfield and there was incorrect information in that mailing about the rail trail, saying that there's not a trailhead built in Brownfield, that Brownfield residents will not have access to the trail, and that is false. So I appreciate having that reflected in the minutes that that's false information, and I'll put more information about that in the next newsletter.
Awesome. Please add that.
Yeah, good, but that's, well, at the DOT meeting, they said there'd be no access in Brownfield for the residents. They said there's nothing in the plans now for an access in Brownfield, that in the future there might be, and if there is, that the town of Brownfield would have to pay for it, because once the state turns it over, the towns are responsible.
I think you're talking about a trailhead, not access. People in Brownfield will have access.
Where will the
where
access
there's a
be?
trail To get on the trail,
Pardon?
to get on the trail. from
Yeah.
Brownfield.
Where would the access be to get on the trail from Brownfield?
And on 160 Denmark Road, where the rail crosses the road.
Okay, well, they didn't have that in the DOT thing. Yeah,
It's incorrect information, so I wanted to.
well, I'll check with the DOT, I'll get back with them on it, yeah, thank
But
you.
make sure you're talking about access, not a trailhead. They're two different things.
Well, they said there would be no parking or anything available there in Brownfield.
Parking is different from access.
Now, I do want to correct that. There was discussion with DOT in regards to a parking or availability for a trailhead in Brownfield. It wasn't in the plan because they're not that far along in the plan. So we needed to look at properties that possibly the municipality has, that the municipality owns, that would be congruent with a trailhead with the availability to park 6 regular sized automobiles. So we're looking at that
Mhm.
and we'll provide that answer to DOT. That will be implemented in that plan. But when I spoke to that DOT kid, and I say kid, probably 40 years old. The only reason there was no trailhead marked in that current study, which is the fourth study, so everybody knows, that's happened. There just wasn't one identified. They hadn't gotten that far with it. So, and that was with talking to that kid that showed up over here. So I'd say that if I remember it.
Well, he said there's nothing right now in the plans for it.
Right, because they were talking to us about whether or not the municipality had a piece of property that would be congruent with it. So we're working on that right now with the assessors and the tax collector to identify if there is something available. But the study doesn't say that there is not going to be one in Brownfield, according to that kid that gave the brief in the community center.
So the
Because I
next
talked to
step-
him for at least 45 minutes.
And the next step is the design and engineering stuff. So
Right,
that's where the details
right.
would be included.
They're just waiting for us to see if we have something available. And that was verbiage right over in the building. There's nothing on the, on the study, but that's the fourth study that's happened in the past 20 years. At $1 million a pop or better. Standard Steep Falls is in the same boat. Looking, and there's supposed to be what, 3 trailheads down there. I think he said 3. So we're looking at 3 possibilities.
For the whole trail.
Yeah, down south of us.
Oh, for Portland Litter
Right,
Standish, yeah.
yeah, standard
Looking
Steep
for
Falls.
3 Options.
Right,
for
right.
the trail.
Yeah, well, the only 4 they had listed for potential real trailhead locations. Hiram, West Baldwin, and Standish.
Right, I understand it.
Yeah.
I did the slideshow.
Yeah,
And I had, like I said, a 45-minute discussion with the DOT kid. Now, the slideshow was available for review to a certain date, and if you wanted to provide comments, there was a cutoff date. But as he stated in the brief, everything is ongoing and updated. They can only update, they won't update the slideshow to present to the public. I want to say, he said possibly biannual for people to do it unless you're on the committee and you're going to the meetings.
so would they do that trailhead after and then require Brownfield to pay for it?
Well, busting in a trailhead, if it's identified prior to it being constructed or done, they would pick it up, they would put it in. We're just supplying the property.
Well, at the meeting, they said once the state has completed the project, anything that goes in afterward is paid by the towns.
Correct, and that's why they're still.
Once the project's completed, right?
Right, and that's why we're diligently working now to try to identify a piece of property so that we can. Because I mean, they're in the engineering right now.
They're moving into that right now.
Right, so we got
Yep.
plenty of time.
Yep.
It's not like the state has been, I mean, it was what, 6 years before they even broke ground in Freiburg from when they started the engineering phase.
So they have funding for the engineering study and design right now, and they're working on funding for building the trail.
Right.
Hopefully to start in 2025.
Yeah. So we got plenty of time.
And this railroad can claim the property anytime they want to.
No, they can't claim it, but
No, we bought it.
revert to rail use.
Right.
Should that need arise. That has never happened for any rail trail in the country. If you can provide me an example of that, that would be
Well,
great.
why would they put it in there if they have no intention of doing it?
Because it's a main law.
It's
rail
not the main
preservation.
law, it's probably a requirement they put in when they
There's
gave the
main
property.
law, the Rail Preservation Act, the rail line can be rail banked. Will happen with this, and putting in a trail is the best way to maintain the right of way for the future, should a rail return, but that has not happened.
Yeah.
If there's not a trail there, right of way is often broken up by development. So this is a way to maintain the right of way as well as giving people something to enjoy.
Who gets the salvage from the rails?
I asked that question. They haven't answered
They
that.
haven't decided yet.
Yeah, they don't know if a company
Who makes the decision?
I would guess the
The
state,
DOT,
yeah.
the
the
DOT
state would.
owns that.
Cause we bought, the taxpayers bought it for $1 million, 20 some odd years ago.
Right.
State owns it, we don't,
We should own the rails then.
well,
No,
Think that.
state, state DOT owns.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, we're part of the state, yeah,
Right.
so we should own the rails.
alright, so,
I got a question in the back. Rick.
yeah,
Three quick things. In conjunction with the comprehensive plan and Terry Lockhead has gotten in touch with John Egan, no relation, from Genesis. And I gave a call to the so-called Department of Housing, which actually there isn't a department in the state, but for lack of a better description, that's what they're called. Spoke to Eric Jorgensen, and he's in charge of affordable housing throughout the state. And he said he would be more than willing to come to a select board meeting and talk to the people of Brownfield and bring John Egan from Genesis with him, so that we can all find out what's happening in the state with affordable housing. And then John Egan can speak to the nuts and bolts of what would need to be done for affordable housing. Vinny also reached out to, a couple of people also. So they're available the second, third, and fourth week of October. So if the select board decides that they'd like them to be here, they will be.
Well, I emailed Terry, who initially wrote the letter informing us about it, and offered to meet with her sometime after Freiburg Fair. And so we could talk about the information she has and go over it, and then have the other people come in, so we'd be a lot clearer when they come in.
so do you want to tentatively schedule this for the,
Well, I'm waiting to hear back from Terry about when a good time after Freiburg Fair would be for her, because I emailed her about it, and she agreed to meet originally, and we just haven't set a date yet.
okay, so that, well.
So
that
we'll
gives you-
set something
that
up
gives
then
you-
afterwards. we
That
can
gives you
set-
2 weeks
Yeah,
to get together, do that, and we can schedule the 4th week of October, which is the 20th through the 26th. To have those gentlemen come in and do a presentation.
mhm. Yeah, well, I'm waiting for her to get back to me. I'll get in touch with her again. I'll just email her again. Tell her you want to do something between the 20 and the 26th, so we should do something before that.
Right.
Okay.
Second thing is, I got in touch with 3 sign contractors, and they're all interested in giving us pricing for a sign out front. So it might be time to form a little committee, to go over design and what we want them to do, what we will do, like bring electric out there, the basin, whatever. So, there's no rush on it. The third thing is, there were 3 ADA door contractors that I spoke with, and I told them to sit tight until the ADA consultant
Yeah.
is here, and then we'll be back in touch with them as far as what we're looking for.
Awesome,
So that's
thank
just
you.
a little update.
Yeah, do you want to reach out and tentatively set October 22nd for that brief with Jorgensen?
Yeah, I'll ask them to pencil it in.
Yeah.
18 seconds. And actually, John Egan works for him, so he said it'd be easy to get him to come along, but they kind of serve 2 different roles.
Perfect. Would you be part of that committee?
Sure.
Any volunteers for the sign committee? Whit, Pine, Joe, Deb? Okay, so Whit, Chad, Joe, and Deb. Okay, so that gives you guys a quorum.
Yeah.
Okay, I will leave it to Whit Lucy, Chad Pine, Joe Egan, Deb Tate, and Lynn Doyle to do the committee for the sign. So you guys handle that and let us know what you come up with.
Mhm.
Good with that?
Sounds good.
You good with that?
Yep.
Perfect. Cool. All right. Know we're a little late. Planning board, where is the chair? First off. Oh, please come up front.
May I?
By all means. Did you put on deodorant today? Perfect. I appreciate that. First, I'd like to thank the planning board for being here. In the past, there's been a pretty large separation with the planning board and the select board, and I want to end that. I want to get things pulled together and work on things appropriately together. I don't care what happened in the past. It's done, it's over. Don't care. I just look forward to us getting things moving and start the relationship on a good note to work so that we're all comfortable and we're all end goal is the same. So
To be able to move forward and to move the town forward and to get anything done, we need to work together.
100%.
So maybe differences in opinions, but that's okay because that's how we can get to a common goal. So,
Well, arguing's always good.
yeah, I love it.
Gets a little frustration now. What is the planning board currently working on?
So
Okay.
I think we're really going to be moving forward pretty conservatively with that.
Okay.
Less is more sometimes, at least to get started. So that's our biggest project right now.
All right, is there any time frame for it going to be presented for vote? Anything that
Right now, we're working on a timeline with Jamal, from Southern Maine,
plan?
Joe,
Planning and development.
Yeah,
thank you. So we have a timeline with him. So we have homework to do.
okay,
Every so often, we have a part of the project that will be due. We have a deadline coming up in the next couple of weeks, just to work on definitions.
Okay.
And that sort of thing.
so is this your guesstimate? We're looking at not this coming year town meeting warrant, possibly
I think
the 2026?
probably,
Possibly, okay.
I would love for it to come out in 2025, but I just don't know if we're gonna be able to meet any of those deadlines.
Okay.
We'll see. We really haven't done as much as that, what we were hoping to get done. There's always a project that's being presented that gets in the way and changes our focus. But we have some more workshops set up to do so in the next couple of weeks to really hammer down and try to get some of that done. But I think the next thing that you will be presented with recreational marijuana. So that will be, we ended up talking about that at our last meeting, and we're giving that back to you guys.
For what?
It was presented that somebody came to.
Right. Yep.
And then we were going to work on an ordinance, but we don't know what public opinion is on that. The town of Brownfield feels about that.
So my question to you is currently in the ordinance that was voted by the town, there is no recreational marijuana, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so.
Retail.
Retail, thank you.
So, retail. So would my assumption be that in order for that to, if somebody's looking to do that, they would have to present a signed petition and it would have to go to vote. So what are you giving back to us?
Well, it was presented to us that somebody wanted to move forward with that. We talked about it briefly, whether or not we wanted to draft an ordinance, but at this point, we believe that whatever party is interested needs to do exactly that. present a petition, to the town on whether or not they want to move forward with that.
I would appreciate the planning board doing just that. It's already voted. It's not wanted. Petition, get the signatures, please, if you're gonna do the petition, tell us to anybody. Get us, bring it here, the petition verbiage at the top of the page. We will we'll give it to the town's attorney. To be legally vetted, to make sure that the verbiage is correct and can be upheld. And give it back to you. There's no charge. We wanna make sure that when you're doing a petition, that it's legal and can be upheld. So get it to us, we'll get it and get it back to you, and then by all means, go get the required signatures and turn it in. And we'll move, forward accordingly with that. But it would be my opinion that we would not move forward on changing an ordinance just at not even a written request that, hey, I want to do this. I mean, why would we waste the resources and time on that for just hey, I'd like to do it. Hey, I like to do a lot of things. So that would be my standpoint, but I don't answer for my colleagues.
I would also like to bring the attention of the fees again with marijuana, maybe want to address that once again.
Okay. Do you have recommendations already?
I do, I
Okay.
present them to you again. We presented them to the last board and they really didn't do the changes that we would have liked. They were somewhat changed, but not to the degree that we really feel like they should be. We are not to profit off of it as a town. It should only cover the cost of what the town is putting forth, and in my opinion, the fee is too high.
Okay, get it put together and turn it into the assistant and schedule to be put on the agenda, and we will address it. That way.
Perfect. I think that's it. I think we should need to address all fees across the board since we're bringing that up. I think the application fees for businesses and for all the fees that we have do not make any sense. Our current business application is only $20. That doesn't make any sense. Just Pam's time alone is certainly a lot more than $20 worth of work that she puts into it. So we're not covering our costs in many areas that are fees.
Not to include the enforcement side.
Right.
Dickie and I have to do the inspections on this stuff, so that takes time off from what we're already doing. It's not to interrupt you.
Well, no, in subdivision, for example, that doesn't seem to be high enough for it. I think right now it's only $100, right? At least for the bigger subdivisions, only $600 less. And
It's more development going on, sure.
you're right.
Land's getting more scarce, and
And the time and energy that's put forth by you and the board certainly is more than $100 worth of time. So here I am asking for leniency for marijuana because that's far too much. But we need to address some of the fees that we're charging that certainly are not enough.
I guess the question is, we're not prophesizing that if your time's getting paid, we'll say, for example, Pam has 100 hours on it, right? She's allowed to get paid out of those fees for that 100 hours, or how does that work as a financial situation? Like, should we be clocking our time separately from our town time if we're doing those things so that you can actually draw money from the application?
I think that if I'm not mistaken, it would just go into a general fund. But it would be really nice that if it did cover some of the time that has been spent on those projects. I know between you and Pam getting together, you're spending, whether it's shoreland or if you're doing any sort of subdivision, there's a lot of hours there being spent. So it'd be nice to be able to recoup some of that.
I would highly, I'd like to see you bring your request and all that, and like I said, get on the agenda. And we'll hash it out. And get the update, because one of the things that is happening now is we're updating in the town. I mean, we have to, we're so antiquated, it's ridiculous. So, yeah,
I don't even know the last time those fees were raised. I mean, a $20 business application, from what year is that from?
it was what, 3 years ago, we went through with yours,
2021, 2021. I think is when we did it.
right? So,
For the business application, I think it's been
I think
$20.
that's when we set the fees, and then that's when I started my extra day to
right,
fill in on, if I was gonna get spoken, well,
yeah, with the marijuana,
And maybe with zoning, we get rid of a business application altogether. You know what I mean? Because it will be designated, and maybe zoning will be able to help eliminate some of those as well. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there.
yep, no,
Because there are many towns that don't have business applications because they have zoning, and they have the rules within the zoning.
right, kind of simplifies it.
It's right.
there's a
The
lot of
same
towns
people.
that can do just stuff like that, right? And then say you don't have your application proper and ready, they charge you a fee for that. Because now it's taking more time out of your planning board meetings and such that, you know what I mean, so I'm just saying this. Other towns do it, a little bit differently.
And we can always learn from others, right? I mean, I'm always about learning from others, and maybe we're not doing things the right
I think
way.
it's only fair to ask people for their time and costs to buy it, you know, I mean, that's not unreasonable, I wouldn't think. I mean, that's the same with the planning board. They should get a stipend, in my opinion, but.
You just looking for a pay raise. So you, planning board's got the plate full? Okay. Good.
Do you have anything else for us?
If there's anything you need from the select board, please reach out. We'll
If we
Take care
do
of
move
business.
forward with marijuana, or the town wants to move forward with marijuana, just bring this up again, it would be really beneficial that we get OCP here. They were great when we met. We really learned a lot from them. So. I think it'd be super beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, we can set up, in the community center. So I'm sure folks are gonna have questions, and maybe we do that even before the petitioning, you know what I mean? Just have something to think about. Do a public hearing and kind of get the public sentiment. I know we paid dues at one point to Survey Monkey, but that's totally dependent on people with computers.
Right.
So we don't really get I mean, we could do the Survey Monkey, but also do, an informational meeting at the community center. So that maybe we get more in attendance for, opinion or kind of feel it out. We could do that as well.
One of the things that we learned, and I'm not certain if everybody knows this, but the medical piece of marijuana is not tested. Medical marijuana is not tested. Recreational marijuana is. It's a little mind blowing, isn't it?
So the sick patients get the moldy crap,
Correct.
makes sense.
Makes sense.
But
That's.
I appreciate your time. Thank you. All right. ACO, you're in receipt of complaint. Filled up 920. Okay. Find it. Investigate.
It was got out of my doorstep.
Okay. All right, so you're going to do the investigation, provide a report.
Seems to be an ongoing issue with two neighbors back and forth about properties and.
that started as a civil issue 2
Okay,
years ago.
okay,
Yeah, so it's just. Go with a warning for her to keep a dog on her property and for him to not stop on her property to entice the dog.
right. Okay. So it's a complaint, It's not, there is no name. There's nothing, it just says animal trespassing. So
Did they check the complaint box?
they
We
check.
did not bring it in.
Oh,
I went,
Right.
I went to close my piazza door. Cause it was open for some reason, first in the morning, and I went to close it, and I looked down, there's an envelope there. So I have no idea when it was dropped off, well, because I don't use that door.
So you do have it under control,
No, it was in a letter, I showed up reading the whole thing,
so you guys have it under control.
yes.
Right, very well, thank you. Maine dog licensing database implementation 2024. Municipal update form, clerk Beth Drain, deputy Michelle Day, Harvesters Animal Shelter, okay. Good to go. Alright. So who put the blue stickies?
I think Michelle's.
Michelle did,
Michelle,
Michelle did,
What do we
yeah,
do?
she did it.
Okay, so. Okay. This is the complaint you were talking about, alright, so. I will not. Leave this one allowed until. They've been notified. Alright, Wednesday at 3:11 PM. Hello, I want to let you know all WCSH TV came last week to do a story on bridges, September 24th, not sure what time. Thank you for everything, Callista. Callista Cross. Okay, thank you. All right, who is on the board of planning board of appeals? Whit, you're on it, we're in this training. Deb Tate, you are. Who do we got?
You just won't buy it. That page right there, each one of those little picture things has a name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Von Wentworth, Whit Lucy, Deb Tate, and Steve Booker. Okay, perfect. Thank you much for doing that. We'll stay up to date. That's all going to. Attorney. Yeah. All right, town's attorney recommends that we have town emails for the select board and all town employees. So Lynn has been graciously looking into getting a new website for the town that's brownfield.gov. Official isn't, it's much easier to deal with, and it will have all hyperlink emails to each employee for the town. North Ledges, you were waiting on him to get back.
which is, he said he can walk me through it and get a price on the domain and all the emails. And tomorrow we have a website demo with Civic Plus at 1 PM to see what they can do for us as well. By the recommendation of North Ledge.
All right, awesome.
Will I be able to watch that?
Yes, we can all watch that and
Only if you bring it.
You can do that.
So we'll work on that. All right. The last item will be for town cell phones. I'm very much of the opinion to do I speak for myself, not my colleagues. Okay. I'm very much of the opinion that the town-owned cell phones was just a debacle. Right from the get-go, initially, it was, yep, went, and got them. Weren't saving money. The insurance wasn't put on them. Paid for that, and it's, this has just been kind of a pain, to be honest with you, so. Willie, you were the, kind of the holdout here. You seem pretty adamant to maintain it. Why?
Well, it wasn't at the last meeting when you guys discussed it, I did review the meetings. So it was just. Reviewing, I just wanted to review some of the stuff that you talked about. You said that as far as legal terms moving forward, that using your personal phone wouldn't be an issue.
It is not. I've spoken to the town's attorney a few times about this. An employee using their personal phone for business, a FOIA request can be filled out, and the only information that can be pulled from your personal phone is to do with town business. So if there's no risk of, it's not like a FOIA request comes in and you're gonna have to walk in here and hand us your phone and we get in it and we take what we want. It doesn't work that way. It gets vetted through the town's attorney. Now, any other information that contained on that phone that's personal in nature, the only way that can ever be requested is through a subpoena signed by a judge. So there is no deal that somebody could just come in and say, I want to see what's on Willie's phone as a FOIA request. One, if anybody's filled out a FOIA request in the past, you have to be very specific in what you're requesting. You can't just put in there, I want to know, text messages from Willie's phone from September 1st to September 5th. It doesn't work that way. It has to be specific. And any FOIA request will be, in regards to that, cell phones will be vetted through the town's attorney. There's no question in my mind. I've had this conversation with the town's attorney a few times.
So there, just issues are the length of switch over here. We're talking about terminating this policy as of when?
January 1st.
Okay.
Correct.
So would that
We
give,
would start the stipend.
The stipend would start January
Correct.
1st, yes.
Yes.
so that would give me 3 months to get all my information changed over? On forms, rentals, different rec directors.
The service would be cut off as soon as you say so, as soon as possible.
Okay.
But he would, Willie would have access, because the phones are ours.
Right.
Once
So
he
he'll
gets
pull it up anyway.
he'll be able to have all of his information on that phone for as long as he needs it.
Perfect.
Well, I just need time to make those appropriate changes with, like I said, I have a ton of contacts out. As you know, I was, had some resistance in taking a town phone to begin with.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, and then it was pushed on us. And, despite the fact that I said we're not gonna save money, the board at the time insisted we would. And here we are, 2 years later, going back the other way, so, reasons that we were told we should take the town phone were, well, if you get done as the director, or we hire somebody else. There was a list of good reasons then.
Yep.
And now we have other reasons why we're switching back, saving money, number one.
100%.
Right.
Saving money.
I just asked for the proper, I'm just asking for myself, appropriate time to use the phone to get everything switched over
Well,
that I need.
like she said, we own the phones.
Right.
So we can effectively cancel it tomorrow. That phone's still in your pocket. When you're done getting all your stuff transferred over, you walk in and you hand it in.
Right, but people that are calling that phone, that are-
Understood.
you know, we have, I've got the community center, we've got people renting that out into January. I mean, into December, right, and I've got, they have that town cell phone as a contact.
Can't.
So you have the contact information to call them and say, hey, we're no longer using that
Correct.
number.
Correct,
Right.
I do,
So what kind of time frame are you looking for?
I was thinking a month.
Okay, 30 days.
So cell phone that he's been using for official business, right?
Mhm.
He can keep that and actually use that as a notebook. He doesn't have to transfer information. That all the information he's got presently that's on there
Mhm.
will stay on there,
Mhm.
right? So he doesn't have, he can keep that as a separate notebook, actually. He just won't have service in and out of it.
Right, it wouldn't have any service.
Yeah,
On Wi-Fi and such,
pardon?
can you still use it on Wi-Fi?
No, he won't have it. Well, he won't have service though. There will be no service to that cell phone.
There'll be no phone service. You will be able to use
There'll be no provider for the, for that
for the
phone.
phone.
But he can use the phone as a notebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to transfer stuff.
What are you doing with,
What are we doing with it?
it's disposable, correct?
Yep.
So why can't Willie just keep the phone? You can also keep your phone number, but just go get it transferred in your name.
You pay the big bills, like?
I mean, unless you didn't want that character.
No, I just need some time to, if we're going to make this switch, to make all the appropriate changes with all the contacts and everything.
But you don't have to, I guess, is,
He's saying that.
I'm saying I do.
All the contacts call him on that phone. He wants to give him time to give the message out that I no longer have this phone. Don't call me on this number, call me on this.
Still like my Apple, I don't know, these are Androids, I don't know if they're different. But like my old phone, if I have Wi-Fi, I can still use it, get on the internet, my emails, all that stuff.
that was.
So it's why it's like a pocket tab.
Yeah, he's just talking,
Right.
he's just
I'm
talking.
talking about, so
Being
and so trying to
contacted.
contact me,
Right.
I need to reach out to these different individuals and directors. Like make all those changes, they're trying to, people don't say, I tried to call the rec director or another rec director tried to call me, we can't get a hold of you. You know,
That happened to me when I was in town halls.
So keep in 1 month,
We get it.
no, I don't care.
it might affect us by like $50.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, so I say we
I'll keep it.
shut off all of the other phones, keep his for 1 more month,
Yep.
and then shut it off.
Yep.
Is that okay?
No, yes, 100%. Yeah.
Okay,
All right, I'll make the motion that we do away with the town-owned cell phones. Willie, your phone will stay on for another 30 days. And starting January 1st, code enforcement, public works director, rec director, who's the other one?
Animal control.
Oh, ACO will receive, starting January 1st, $50 a month as a stipend to help offset the cost of your cell phone usage. That is my motion.
Second,
All in favor? Perfect. Thank you. Anything else from the audience? Yes, ma'am.
There's all that fall's here, school started, here next week, next month. Well, say next month, it's almost over. November, we have our election.
Yes.
And welcome, Beth. It's gonna be your first one, right?
Yes.
In Maine. So welcome aboard. You got a great team of counters. There's 2 of them right here. And with that being said, there's a lot of things going on in Maine. We have state reps. I don't know if they've been coming around yet, but I know Rick Bennett's running for state senator. And we have
Nate Wadsworth.
state and state reps. We have Nate Wadsworth and we have Nikki Sikera. Nikki came just to feel the towns that she's gonna be representing if she wins. So this is Nikki and this is.
Nice to meet you, ma'am.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't announce myself prior to coming, but I didn't want to take up space. I'm just here to learn and listen and, yeah.
Would you like to address any?
I'm gonna guess. No, other than I'm grateful to be here. I live in Freiburg. I have a son that went to the academy. I come from a family of educators, but also I have siblings that are in law enforcement, fire departments. I was part of opening a residential treatment facility, outdoor recreation program that's licensed as mental health care facility. The last, most of the last 18 years, I was a director at a wilderness medical school. So we work in, EMS, pre-hospital care. And yeah, I was appointed by the Speaker of the House to be on a commission to study the role of water as a resource in Maine. So I work on water policy at the state level, trying to improve our legal infrastructure around our most valuable resource. And yeah, so that's me in a simple nutshell. And she was also involved with Freiburg Water District. Yeah, she was on the board. Yeah, so I was elected to that position. And yeah, I love working across the aisle. That's the great thing about water issues is political spectrum. We compete each other as community members outside of the political spectrum. So that's something I really enjoy. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, just one thing to clear. I've been made aware that on the end of Moore Road, the turnaround, one vehicle is parked right in it. And the other one is right on there.
Yeah, so,
Just as Jim,
Jim Walsh.
yeah, I think he's the impassive. That's what I heard. So anyways, I just wanted to let you know because. Like, that ball here, you're gonna get snow sooner or later.
well, it was in there last year.
It was?
Dude has jumper cables hooked to his CMP line.
Is he there now?
He comes and goes. He's a frequent flyer. Yeah.
No.
Pictures of a CMP box and he opened it up and he put jumper cables in there and ran it off a jet.
They work. They work.
Nope.
Oxford County,
If we can't get a hold of him.
Oxford County. Have a good night.
That's where it is. This is said, oh. You saw it? It's what I do there.
Where it's in the roadway, all he has to do is call Oxford County. They'll go out, yeah.
So, I just want to mention one thing,
Don't look like anything they're gonna start up in here.
Windows, you know.
yeah, when we start doing the thing about the dog ordinance, I don't know if we're gonna reach out to Brian and the Greavies to see if they'd like to be invited in on it.
What are you talking about?
The dog ordinance, you were talking about, we're gonna do a dog ordinance with teeth in it
Oh, no.
last week,
No.
yeah, so when that comes
What
about,
happens? Well, I want to make sure we're clear on this.
yeah,
The town's attorney has the ordinance for review
uh-huh,
and is going to add the teeth. And at that point, it's gonna be, we have to review it with the public.
Right.
Because they're the ones that have to vote on it. And Brian, McGreevy's, I don't care who it is, whoever has a complaint about, out in town, they're gonna have the review time for that ordinance, because it has to go to all taxpayers for a vote.
okay, so they won't have input. They won't be able to do input on the ordinance, or they'll just be reviewing it.
What I would typically say is an ordinance is put out, there's a informational meeting that, hey, they have, hey, can we change this, hey, can we change that?
Mhm.
That's taken under advisement by the board, and changes are made appropriately, and then they have a public hearing. And then the public hearing, yep, people will voice, good to go, and then it's voted upon.
Okay,
So, yes, but the town's attorney is adding the legal teeth
mhm.
to it. So, unless we have an attorney sitting here, they're adding to it is,
Whatever they had.
yeah, it is what it is. So, but everybody will have a chance to speak up with
Uh-huh.
regards to that ordinance. 100%.
Okay, and they can put whatever they want, and could they include something in the ordinance after the attorney has submitted it?
It'll get vetted back through the attorney to make sure it's defendable.
Okay, so, all right, so there's an opportunity for the people who have complaints
Yep,
to bring it back to the attorney through the select board when they get.
regardless if they have complaints or not.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter if they have.
Yeah,
complaints.
right.
I want everybody to understand, you don't have to have a complaint with an ordinance to have the ability to put in, hey, we'd like this change, or we'd like to see this added. You do not need a complaint for that. Every taxpayer has that right and opportunity to provide, hey, I'd like to see this change, or I would like to have this added to an ordinance.
right,
It does not have to be just because they got a complaint. 100%.
Point that would go back to the town attorney.
Correct. We have to have the legal review done on the document, because if there's, there's rules in there that can't be defended, then they're not, they're worthless as the paper they're printed on. They have to be defendable in court. So that's why we send it to the town's attorney for their review. Hey, look, change this verbiage because by Maine statute or whatever, this is what it needs to say, so that it has the legal backing to be defended in court. So. Anything else?
nope, I just,
I make a motion, we adjourn. All in favor? Thank you, folks.
yep. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting better. Yeah, I can still wiggle it. It's easier to pick my nose now because it doesn't move.